As the first step in our workflow, let's take a look at how we can select or define some elements to work with. And we have a couple different options here. We can either select a model line that we want to divide into a series of different separate divisions. We could select the model element and then extract the curve element by using the curve element.curve node. Or we could think about defining a curve mathematically in Dynamo. So we can just kind of create some points by coordinates, create some curve definition points, list those points together, then create a nice NURBS curve out of those points. So let's take a look at how we can do that. Okay, so here we are looking at our environment. I'm going to keep the Revit window open on the side. And what I'm going to do is actually just choose all those different little spheres which are currently in the window. Those are just residue from the last time I worked with this project, and I clean them out just so we don't get confused about what's new and what's old. Okay, when it comes time to selecting a model line, it's actually pretty easy. What we'll do is just say that we want to select something, and I can choose that model line. Now, there's nothing yet showing up over here. Let me go ahead and turn that on automatically. In the Dynamo window, but if what I'd like to do is extract that curve, I can go to curve element.curve, and you can see the curve is now extracted and shows up in the Dynamo environment too. So now we have the model curve, we also have the geometry curve. Okay, similarly, or in an alternate method, we can go through and define that curve mathematically. So let's take a look at that. I'm just going to go through and create a series of points here, just a series from 0 to 30, incrementing by 2. Okay, I have the little function that I worked with in the last example. Now to create the curve, what I'm going to do is just pull those points together. Make that a little bigger so you can see that. In fact, I'll expand that window. That'll make it a little bit easier to see. Okay, so my X values came out of this series. My Z values came out of that function. My Y values are currently set to 0. And I can just leave them that way, or I can kind of pull in that code block over there. Okay, but now that we have that mathematical curve, we can now just create NURBS curve by points. Okay, now I have these two different choices of curves to work with within Dynamo, whichever one I prefer. Now, the points that are currently showing up on the NURBS curve are what I'll call definition points. Those aren't division points. Those are the points which are actually defining the curve. Okay, and that's going to be a very important distinction as we keep working.